The first time the lights flickered on at the people stage. It wasn't applause that filled the space, but silence, thick and uncertain, the kind that settles when hope has been tested too many times. Backstage, cages rested side by side, and inside them, pairs of bright, watchful eyes reflected the glow of the stage bulbs. The cats did not know the weight of the moment, but the humans around them did. This performance was not just about tricks or timing. It was about belief, about whether something fragile could still stand strong in a world that often rushed past gentleness without noticing it. CitiLimitz stood near the curtain, hands clasped tightly, breathing slow and deliberate. Tomos people CitiLimitz was a name tied to bold transformations and creative risks, a force that stepped in where others hesitated. But in this moment, that reputation felt distant. What mattered was the promise made weeks ago to a family who had traveled far with nothing but trust, talent, and a deep love for animals that many had dismissed as impossible to train, impossible to understand, impossible to celebrate. The Savitsky Cats had never been ordinary. They were rescued, nurtured, and taught through patience instead of force, through kindness instead of command. Each cat carried a story etched into its movements, some once abandoned, some once frightened, all now bound together by quiet discipline and surprising grace. Their trainers believed that love could teach where fear never could, but belief alone did not guarantee acceptance, especially on a stage watched by so many skeptical eyes. Christian Day was approaching, a day meant to celebrate compassion, humility, and service, and the people stage had chosen to honor it, not with speeches, but with a living example. Still, doubts circled. Would an audience raised on spectacle understand the deeper meaning behind cats, leaping, balancing, trusting? Would they see more than entertainment? Would they feel the message woven into every movement? As rehearsals began, setbacks came quickly. A sound cue startled one cat. Another refused to jump she had mastered 100 times before. A producer suggested replacing them with something safer, something predictable. CitiLimitz listened, nodded, and then quietly said no. Because transformation had never been about choosing the easy route. It had always been about standing firm when compassion was tested. One late evening, long after the lights dimmed, CitiLimitz returned to the stage and found the Savitsky family still practicing. No audience, no cameras, just soft encouragement and gentle hands. A small cat hesitated at the edge of a platform, her tail twitching with doubt. Instead of pushing, Herr Trainer Knelt waited, whispered reassurance. Minutes passed. Then, with a delicate leap, the cat crossed the space and landed safely. No cheers followed, yet something sacred filled the room. In that moment, CitiLimitz understood the routine was not about perfection. It was about trust freely given and patiently earned. It mirrored the heart of Christian Day more clearly than any sermon ever could. Compassion does not rush. Love does not demand. True strength waits. Word spread quietly among the crew. Attitudes softened. Volunteers began staying late, offering help, bringing treats, asking questions. Barriers that once separated humans from animals, professionals from performers, slowly dissolved. The stage was changing before the show ever began. On the morning of Christian Day, the air carried anticipation and unease in equal measure. Families filled the seats. Children perched forward, elders watching with cautious curiosity. Some came seeking inspiration, others simply entertainment. Few knew they were about to witness something that would linger far longer than applause. Backstage, the Savitsky Cats sensed the shift. Come replaced restlessness. They moved with practiced ease, responding not to commands, but to connection. CitiLimitz gathered the team for a brief moment of silence, not for superstition, but for gratitude. Gratitude for courage, for patience, for the choice to believe when doubt was louder. When the curtain rose, the first cat stepped forward alone, her movements slow and deliberate. No music yet, just present. She paused, looked out, and the room grew still. Then, gently, the routine unfolded. Cats leapt through hoops held by hands they trusted. They balanced together, climbed, waited, returned. Every motion was precise, yet soft, disciplined, yet free. Midway through the performance, something unexpected happened. A prop shifted slightly out of place. A murmur rippled through the crowd. One cat hesitated, frozen between fear and familiarity. In that breathless pause, her trainer stepped forward, not to fix the prop, but to lower himself to her level, eyes meeting hers. He did not rush her. He opened his arms. The cat chose him. She abandoned the planned path and walked directly into his embrace. Gasps echoed, then silence, then something deeper. The audience was no longer watching animals perform. They were witnessing choice, trust, love made visible. The routine adapted seamlessly. Other cats followed, adjusting, supporting one another, completing the performance not as programmed, but as lived. When the final pose settled and the lights dimmed, there was a heartbeat of stillness before the room erupted. Applause rose, not in waves, but in a single overwhelming surge, tears mingling with smiles across generations. People stood, not just to clap, but to honor what they had felt. Parents held children closer. Strangers exchanged glances of understanding. Something had shifted inside them, something gentle yet powerful. Backstage, emotions overflowed. The Savitsky family held one another, overwhelmed not by success, but by recognition. CitiLimitz stepped forward, not for praise, but to thank them for reminding everyone why this work mattered. Not to impress, but to connect. Not to dominate, but to serve. Later, messages poured in. Viewers spoke of renewed faith, not just in religion, but in humanity. They spoke of slowing down, of listening, of choosing kindness when impatience felt easier. Shelters reported increased interest in cat adoption. Children asked parents how to treat animals better. Small ripples spread outward, quiet but persistent. CitiLimitz watched it all unfold with humility. Transformation had happened, not through force or spectacle, but through compassion given space to breathe. The people's stage had lived up to its name, becoming a place where hearts met, where differences softened, where belief was restored not through words, but through action. As night settled and the stage lights dimmed once more, the cats rested peacefully, unaware of the impact they had made. But perhaps that was the lesson. The most powerful acts of love do not seek recognition. They simply show up, again and again, trusting that goodness, once seen, will always find its way forward. And so on a day meant to celebrate faith, it was a group of small, graceful creatures, and the humans who loved them, who reminded everyone watching that compassion is not loud, kindness is not weak, and hope, when nurtured with patience, can leap across even the widest spaces and land exactly where it is needed most.